YouTube, it's Monica. Today, I'm talking about sheltered homeschool kids. So if you homeschool, you know this is a big topic for people, is sheltering your kids. I mean, one is socialization, right? And the other is sheltering your kids. So some people will actually ask you about that. They'll say, aren't you worried about sheltering them? But mostly people don't ask you about it. They'll talk about it, or you'll see this a lot in social media or on articles, this idea that we're just like keeping them inside all the time and sheltering them. It's something we're supposed to do as parents. And this word has been turned around against parents, and anyone who is actually sheltering their kids is doing something bad. So let's break down, what does sheltering mean? To protect or shield from something harmful. I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to do? But somehow that's turned into a bad thing, sheltering your kids. And I'm going to talk about cell phones now. This is something you all need to think about. If your kids have a cell phone, you need to make sure that thing is locked down somehow. Because if your kid can access the internet, and your kid has a chance to do that on a regular basis without you, this is bad news. I mean, one step that a lot of people take is they take that cell phone at night, and that is the first basic awesome thing that all parents should do. That cell phone should not be available to your kids at night. Not only can they access all kinds of crazy stuff online, but they can also be bullied by friends. They can stay up till 2 a.m. like texting people. That's just not healthy, right? We just need sleep. This is like a basic health thing. We need sleep, you know? So that's a basic thing, but your kids, the phone needs to be locked down. They shouldn't be able to access anything on the internet. I mean, we're not just talking about porn, which is, in my opinion, that's bad. You don't want your kid to learn about human sexuality by watching porn. That is terrible for their future relationships. But in addition to pornography, there's a lot of really, really horrible stuff on there. I mean, your kids can watch somebody be beheaded. They can watch someone be stabbed to death. They can watch somebody be tortured. Little kids can see this. So your 11 or 12-year-old could be watching this in the neighborhood, like outside, with 2 or 3 other friends and the 5-year-old little neighbor. So when your kid has access to this stuff, it's bad for your kid. And it's bad for all the other kids. It's bad for society. And this is what, we're talking about sheltering. It's our job. It is to protect, keep safe, right? To protect or shield from something harmful. And of course, as parents, there are some things that are dangerous, but not ultimately that harmful. So let me give an example, like flipping over on the playground thing. It's just a bar, and flipping upside down. I mean, they could hurt themselves, but they're unlikely to permanently hurt themselves. But when you're watching pornography, you're going to permanently harm that child's notion of what is normal human sexuality. And seeing it 1 or 2 times, probably not. But what happens is it's a lot worse than that. And when you're giving kids access to this at a young age, you're setting them up for really just dysfunctional adult relationships. Is it bad to shelter our kids from the idea that pedophilia is just another sexual orientation? Because they're teaching that in some schools. In fact, check out this video from California where they were teaching children that pedophilia is just another sexual orientation. And in this video, a parent is confronting an administrator. Check it out.
Why you're teaching pedophilia in school to 9th graders?
Teaching what?
Pedophilia, pederasty, right here.
I've explained to you that this is done because we are talking about historical perspectives of how gender relations and different types of sexual orientations have existed in history.
And then you have the idea of sheltering your kids from certain people. Like, maybe I don't want to leave them alone too much, but you'll be called a helicopter parent, or people will say that you're hovering. But there are a lot of questionable people, especially people who get jobs dealing with kids. And I don't think that this is a crazy or out there idea. I think we've all heard of some high school coach engaging in some shenanigans or another, whether it is, you know, they're trying to have a relationship with one of the student athletes, or whether they're just flat out raping them. I'm looking here. I have an example of John Anthony Fickus, Fickas. You can look him up. He was accused of rape. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to shelter my kids, because if you look this up, it's not unusual. And your job as a parent is to shelter your kids. I don't care if your kids are homeschooled or if they are in public school or private school. I think what happens is that as parents, we are made to question ourselves. I'm not sure that that's by accident. So, you know, and then I'm looking here, and then there's Jeremy Haggerty was arrested on molestation charges. I'm not interested in putting my kid in harm's way. So what does that mean in real life? That means that I will probably attend most practices. I certainly won't leave my kid alone with a coach. I wouldn't leave a practice unless there were multiple kids there, even if I've known the coach for 2 years. I don't trust anybody, and I don't think you should either, and it doesn't matter if your kids are homeschooled. I just think the idea is that homeschoolers get this reputation for sheltering their kids. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think our kids need to be, I think more kids need to be sheltered. And then there's, you know, violence. Oh, so much violence. You know, if I had to put my kid in schools, I would. But I do see homeschooling my kid as a way to protect, right? That's what sheltering is, protecting your kids from something harmful. And, you know, these school shootings, I don't need it. I don't need my kid to have a shooter drill. Now, if my kid was in a public school, I probably would be supportive of it. I mean, God, you got to prepare them, right? But how sad is that? Since I have the opportunity to protect my kid from just the shooter drills, you know, I'm going to do it. And I think that's the right thing to do. You know, when my kids get a little older, I probably will have discussions with them, because this stuff can happen, as we have seen, in Walmart. I mean, it can happen in music festivals. It can happen anywhere, and they need to know what to do. They need to know how to be aware of their surroundings. But, you know, when my kid's 5, 6, 7, 8, even like 11 or 12, it's sad, guys. This is just sad, and it's inevitable. I'm not criticizing teachers or administrators in schools for doing these shooter drills, but I'm just so glad that I can protect my kid from that. You know what? And it's not just gun violence. Kids bringing knives to school, stabbing other kids, and just fist fights. I just don't want to raise my kid like that. I don't want my kid to be feeling like they need to get in a fist fight to protect their honor or their friend's honor. I don't want them in that situation. And I think sometimes when you're in a school, you kind of have to be like that if you're going to sort of make it in the social hierarchy. You're going to have to do some of that, and I'm just glad that my kids don't have to be a part of that. And in reality, what that means is that I'm sheltering them. That's all I have for you today. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on YouTube. And if you like this video, please click thumbs up and share it with your friends. And in the meantime, happy homeschooling and have a great day.